The fastest way to learn any skill efficiently is to build something useful along with the learning. Doesn't matter how small it is. This video is stuffed with a lot of useful tips and tricks to make your quant or algo trading more efficient. This video will definitely add something to your existing skill set if you have already gone through my previous videos. And even if you are a beginner, you will be able to grasp everything, as I will be explaining each and everything in a very easy and detailed way. In this video, we will be building a small project to identify momentum and volatility of any given asset. So here we will be analyzing the momentum and volatility of the Bitcoin for past 3 years. So without further delay, let's dive in. So now we will be building a small project, and the project agenda is to first we will identify the periods where the Bitcoin was likely in a high momentum and low momentum phase. Then we can define the high and low momentum. High is when the periods where both the RSI is above 70, means overbought, and the Bollinger Band's width is increasing, means the difference between the upper and lower bands, the width is right. And similarly, the low momentum is the opposite of high. So where the RSI is below 30 means oversold and the BB width is decreasing. And the second point is we will calculate the daily percentage change in volume, and we will highlight the days with more than a 5% increase in trading volume compared to the previous day. And finally, we will plot the results to visualize. Okay, so first thing first, as usual, we will be importing the required libraries. So first we will import the Pandas as PD. Then we will import the Pandas TA as TA. Then we will import the matplotlib to plot the charts. So we will import this as PLT. Then we just as PLT. So now we will be reading the CSV file. If you don't have CSV file, you can directly import the data from Yahoo Finance, as Yahoo Finance is now integrated with the Pandas TA. But now we have the CSV file, so we'll just go ahead and read the file, read CSV, and we will give the path. So it is here BTC USDT, and it is a 5-minute time frame. And when we hit enter, we can see the data. So we will assign this to the data frame, right? And when we hit enter and when we check the value of data frame, we can see the results. Okay, so now the first step is to prepare the data. For that, what we need that this date column should be the index, and this should be converted in a date time data type, right? So how we can achieve that? So generally what we do, we will just convert to date time, and then we will give here the column name, which is date, right? So when we hit enter, we can see that it has been converted to the date time. You can see here the data type. And now when we want to append this to data frame, what we can do, we can just pass the data frame column, and in this way it will append to the original data frame. Now when we check, we can see that we have this date. And how do you verify that which data type is this? So you can just type D types here. You can see that date is of data type date time, right? Then we also need that this date column should act as the index of this data frame. So what we will do, we will set index, and here we will pass the column as date. And then when we need to make it permanent, we will just do in place is true, and just hit enter, and you can see that we have the index as date, which is in the date time data type, right? But there is another way. Sometimes we need this for specific purpose, but generally we can achieve this while importing the file also. So what we can do, sometimes if you need, it's okay, but if you don't need, then what you can do in order to achieve this, you can just pass here as parse dates So it will automatically take the date as the date time column. And okay, so first I'll show you this. It says, okay, so you make sure that you always passing this as a list. Okay, when you hit shift enter, and now when you check the data type, you can see that date is as the date time, right? And but still the index is range index. So in order to convert that, here what you can do, you can just pass index column as date. That's it, and it will straight away set the index as date column. So now we have done two things. We have converted this to date time and have set it as the index. And now as we have a very huge data, it's really convenient to convert this 5-minute data frame as a 1-day data frame, right? That will also tell us a broader view, right? So how do we achieve that? How do we convert the 5-minute data frame into 1 day? What we can do, we can just resample it. Okay, resample and just pass a day. Then you have to apply the function aggregate and pass a dictionary. In dictionary, you have to tell the program that it should take open as the first, high max, low as the minimum, and close as the last, and it will sum the volume data. Correct? So basically it is the OHLC data. So what you can do, you can just type open as the first candle, means it will take the first candle as the open. Then you can just copy and paste here 5 times. Okay, the open will be the first, so it will apply the first on the open column, and then on the high it will take the max, and low it will take them open first, high max, and low will be the minimum, and HLC close will be the last, right? And it will take the sum of the volume of all candles, right? Of all candles of that particular day. Correct? This is how we can resample the 5-minute candles to 1-day candle. Then in last we can apply the drop NA, because sometimes if there is any NN values, those might interrupt with the final calculation. So we'll just apply the drop NA function here, and when you hit enter, you can see that we have the daily bars. So this one row will act as a 1-day bar. So you can see here we have resampled the 260,847 rows to 908 rows. It has been reduced, and the 908 row meaning 908 days. That means close to 3 years data, right? So that's very amazing. So now what you can do, you can just assign this to the existing data frame, or if you want, you can create a new data frame here. Okay, so I'll just hit shift enter, and when I check my modified data frame, we have the desired values. So now we have prepared the data. The next part is to calculate the indicators, the RSI and the Bollinger Bands. Correct? So what we can do, we have very cool operations in the Pandas TA. So first we will check what is the syntax of this indicator in Pandas TA. So you can just do help. If you want to check for any another indicator, you can mention here like Bollinger Bands, MACD, ADX, whatever you want. So here I would like to check for RSI. So here you can check that in RSI we pass the close parameter, the length, the scalar. So for now we are concerned with just two things. One is close and another is length. So this is so advanced that by default it will take the close column here. So if you want that we want the RSI of this close column, you just leave it blank. It will take the close by default, and by default it will take the length as 14. So if you want the 14, and if you want any another length, you can mention here, right? So for now I need the default values, the close and the RSI of, and the length will be the 14. So I'll just go ahead and apply this on the data frame. And here when I check, you can see that we have the RSI of this close values, right? The relative strength index. So this is a momentum oscillator, right? You know that the value range from 0 to 100, and when the values, okay, let me just show you. So you can also refer this. I'll just give a link. So the RSI is, it range from 0 to 100. When it is above 70, we can say that it is overbought, and when it is below 30, we can say that it is oversold. Correct? So here, so now we want to add this column also to the data frame. So now if you check DF, it is not added. So what we can do, we have two options. One is the traditional method, like we will assign this as a new column name, right? The RSI and RSI here and this way. If you do this, it will be added to the data frame. Otherwise, another option is to just pass here append is equals to true, and it will magically add it to the existing data frame. So you can do that. And now we will go for the Bollinger Bands. So what you can do, so same like RSI, you can first take the help and check the syntax. So here you can see that the same way it will take the close column and length will be none. So by default it will take the length as 5 and standard deviation as 2, correct? And it will return the 5 columns, the lower Bollinger Band and the mid and the upper Bollinger Band, and then it will give us the bandwidth. So bandwidth will be like the upper minus lower and the percentage column, right? So I'll just go ahead and apply this on the data frame. Okay, so now when you check, we have the 5 columns, lower Bollinger Band, the middle and the upper, and this is the width. Width is, it will just subtract from like upper to lower and the percentage. So similarly, we want to append this. So what we can do, just pass the append as true, and when you hit shift enter and then you check your data frame, that now you have the indicator RSI and the Bollinger Bands with all the 5 columns. I'll just go ahead and clear output. So now one thing remaining is the daily percentage change in volume. So how we can achieve that, we will just apply on the volume column, and here percentage change. Okay, so now we have values and we can just assign it to the new column, which is, you can say like percentage volume change. Okay, and hit shift enter and then check the DF. Now we have all the values, right? So now we can move to this part. So now we need to check the high momentum. So what are the conditions here? That when both the RSI is above 70 and the Bollinger Band width is increasing. So increasing means the current bar should be more than the previous bar, right? It should be the condition. So what you can do, you just check the condition that first RSI value should be greater than 70. So I'll just copy this column and RSI should be greater than 70, the first condition, correct? I'll just put a parenthesis. Then the next condition is the Bollinger Band's width is increasing. The current daily bar should be greater than the previous one. So how we can achieve that? Okay, so first we will check the width. So width is this column. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and I'll just put an and here. So this is the width column, correct? This width column, so we can say the current width. So I'll show you here. So here is the correct example. So on 29th of December, 23, it was the width difference was 5.4, and on the previous day it was 4.0. So let me just show you in the chart somewhere. For example, we have this Bollinger Band example here. So what it want to say that when we take the difference, okay, so when you check the difference, you can clearly see that when we take out this difference and this difference, okay, so definitely when the volatility is more, the difference will be more, right? And when the volatility is less, the difference will be less. So it wants to say that the current, let's take example of this bar, so this value, the difference between this bar should be greater than the previous one. So when we again come to here, so we can see that this 5.4, which is the difference between the upper band and the lower band, is more than the previous one, right? We can say that volatility is increasing here. So this is the width. I want that difference should be greater than 0. Means whenever I take the difference, and if it is greater than 0, then volatility is increasing, right? For the high momentum, we can say. So I'll just go ahead and put a parenthesis here, and one more condition, that percentage change in volume should be greater than 5, right? So here we have seen the condition, right? The 5% increase in trading volume compared to the previous day. So it should be, I'll pass, and the percentage volume change should be greater than 5. So these are the three conditions for the high momentum. When I press shift enter, you can see that it will give us a boolean value, true and false. Okay, and I can also close this in the parenthesis, and I will just assign it as a new column where I can say it, we can say upward movement, or we can say high momentum. Okay, we can say high momentum, right? And for the low momentum, just the opposite. So low momentum, when it is oversold of RSI and the difference is less than 0, means the difference is in the negative, correct? And now I just hit shift enter, and when I check the data frame, I can see that it has added 2 more columns. So now what we will do, we will analyze this in the charts. So first of all, I'll just go ahead and clear this output, and first of all we will set up the plot. So the figure and the fig size is 14 by 7. Okay, it is fine. Then we'll plot the close prices. So plot, and here, so in plot, you know that on the x-axis we will plot the index, correct? So in index we have the dates here, correct? So on x-axis we want the index. So what we can do, we can just type df index, like it will pass the values as an numpy array here, and then here we pass the close. Okay, so close, and just let's check it. Yeah, it is good. We have plotted the x as the date and y-axis as the price, right? Then we will give it a label, so you can give it as the close price. Then the color, you can give it as a light gray, right? So that it's easier for us later on to analyze the other things. And you can also give us, okay, so light gray, it is fine. And also you can give the alpha as, okay, alpha as 0.8, I think should be fine. Oh, we have made some mistake. take, okay, alpha. Okay, so now I think it's fine. Then what we will do, we will highlight the high moment first. Okay, so first we will highlight the high momentum, this one. We will plot that in green. So what we can do, we can just go ahead and plt.scatter, and here you have to mention the high momentum, and you have to pass it as in the array, correct? The index. Okay, okay, now we need the y also. So in the y it will be the close, right? So just copy and close, and now we can see these are the high momentum, right? You can see here. So what we will do, we'll just change the color to green. So color will be green. Okay, good. And if you want, you can label it as, so we will give the label as high momentum. Okay, and also if you want to change the marker, you can do that also. So marker, you can keep it as the arrow. So you have to pass the arrow, the upper arrow, and also the alpha. So alpha, as you can see, 0.7. Okay, so now we are good to go. So now we'll plot the low momentum. So I'll just change it as low, and here also low, and I will make it as red, and in the marker I will type V, and rest the same. So now you can see that we have the high and low. And also if you check here, okay, we have made a mistake here because the results are not so promising. So I just shift enter and then again change the values, and now when I do the shift enter, now it seems fine. So now we move to the next part. Now if you want to plot the Bollinger Bands here, so you can do that also. So how you can achieve that, you can just type plot, and here you can pass the index as like the numpy array, and then df and the upper band first. So you can just go here, and this is the upper band. So go ahead and copy here, correct? Then you can label it as the upper Bollinger Band. So upper Bollinger Band. Then you can also give the line style here also. So that would be and then alpha you can give here as 0.5. When you shift enter, you can see that we have the upper Bollinger Band, right? Just copy this and paste below, and here you can have the lower band. So for lower band, just change this to the column and verify BBL. Yeah, BBL fine. Then change this value to lower. Line style, if you want to change you can, otherwise you can keep it same. So below we have the lower Bollinger Band. Okay, this is upper, this is lower Bollinger Band, right? Then we will just add some title to the plot. So title, We can say like Bitcoin price with momentum indicators, and then you can X label as date and Y label as price, then also legend. So plot dot legend, and finally just show the plot and hit enter. So now you can see you have a cool chart with the close price, high momentum. We have forgot to change here label, it should be low momentum. Okay, high momentum, low momentum, upper Bollinger Band, lower Bollinger Band, and this is how you can build some smaller projects to enhance your skills, and then you can grow later on. So if you have any doubt, just let me know in the comments, or you can join our other social media handles like Telegram, Discord, and we can discuss there also. So until then, take care, bye bye, have a nice day, see you.